You've seen the claims. This penny is worth $1 million. This quarter can make you rich overnight. But is it true? The truth is, most of it is completely fake. Exaggerated prices, misleading hype. That's what we're here to expose. Welcome to Rare Coin Collecting.
Imagine this. You're flipping through a box of coins at a garage sale, the kind of box where most people see just pocket change. But then something gleams back at you. A flawless, mirror-like quarter. The date reads 2007, and above it a tiny S mint mark catches your eye. You've just spotted the Utah State quarter, but not the ordinary version you find in your change. This one is a San Francisco minted clad proof, a coin that looks more like jewelry than currency. You might have seen those wild online posts. Utah quarter sells for $800,000. Truth check. Those headlines are usually overblown, mixing up mint errors, perfect grades, and sometimes even the wrong coin entirely. But here's the real twist. There are Utah proof quarters, especially in top grades or with rare errors, that have sold for hundreds or even thousands. And that's where the fun begins. The 2007 S Utah clad proof quarter was struck at the San Francisco Mint strictly for collectors. It never entered regular circulation, meaning you wouldn't get one in your change unless someone accidentally broke it out of a proof set and spent it. It's made from a copper-nickel clad composition, just like normal quarters, but proof strikes are in a league of their own. The coin weighs 5.67 grams and measures the standard, or 26 millimeters in diameter. But under magnification, the difference between a proof and a circulation strike is night and day. The mirrored fields reflect like black glass, while the raised details have a frosted, sculpted look. The reverse design is a miniature masterpiece. It celebrates Utah's entry into the Union in 1896 and features the golden spike ceremony of the first transcontinental railroad. Two locomotives face each other from opposite sides of the coin, their cowcatchers nearly touching, with a spike in the center and the words, "Crossroads of the West" arching above. On a proof strike, the contrast between the mirrored background and the frosted trains is breathtaking. Mintage for the 2007 S clad proof Utah quarter came in at Tavos 39th and 104, which may sound like a lot. But remember, that's the total for collectors nationwide. Compare that to the hundreds of millions of Philadelphia and Denver circulation strikes, and you start to see why perfect examples can be highly sought after. For proof coins, grade is everything. In PR69 Deep Cameo, these can sell for around $15-25, but a flawless PR70 Deep Cameo example, certified by PCGS or NGC, can fetch $60, $80, even over $100 depending on demand. And while that's far from $500,000, finding one in an original proof set and sending it for grading can easily turn a $5 coin into a serious return. Even more exciting are proof errors. While the San Francisco Mint's quality control is strict, mistakes do happen. Doubled dyes in the lettering, a faint extra spike, or frosting anomalies where parts of the design lose their intended finish. These errors can transform a $10 coin into a $200 or $300 collectible overnight, especially if they're unique. If you're hunting for one, the best source is unopened or well-preserved. 2007 clad proof sets from the U.S. Mint, coin shows, estate sales, and online marketplaces like eBay or great collections are also prime hunting grounds. Occasionally, you'll even hear about a proof quarter turning up in a cashier's till because someone spent it by mistake. That's the dream find, proof quality at face value. If you suspect you have one, look for 3 key signs: the S mint mark, mirror-like fields, and frosted details. A scale reading 5.67 grams confirms it's clad, not silver. Handle it by the edges only. Even the lightest fingerprint can knock a PR70 down to a PR68, slashing its value. When it comes to selling, average PR69 examples can be sold on eBay, through coin dealers or directly to other collectors. For PR70 Deep Cameo or verified error coins, consider sending them to a major auction house like Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, where competitive bidding can drive up the price. What makes the 2007 S Utah clad proof quarter special isn't just its beauty or its design, it's the story it tells. It's a reminder of a turning point in American history, frozen in flawless metal. And while it might not make you $500,000, the right coin in the right grade can still be a star in your collection. Or a quick profit if you sell it smart. So the next time you're flipping through proof sets or spotting shiny quarters at a flea market, keep an eye out for that tiny S mint mark and the golden spike design. Because sometimes, history doesn't just live in museums, and it sits quietly in a little plastic case to bring it back into the light, waiting for someone who knows what they're looking at. You pick up a quarter, and right there, gleaming under the light, is a gleam unlike your normal pocket change. The design, two locomotives meeting nose to nose with a shining golden spike between them. It's the Utah State quarter, but this one feels different. And it should, because if you've got the right version, in the right condition, you might just be holding a coin worth more than some people's cars. Now you might be thinking, it's just a quarter, 25 cents. But that's the mistake most people make. This is the 2007 S Silverproof Utah State quarter. And while the regular version is common, the Silverproof isn't something you'll find rattling around in change. It was struck only for collectors in San Francisco, with a mirror-like finish and 90% silver content. Its weight, 625 grams, compared to the clad version's 567. It feels heavier, richer, more substantial. But here's the catch. Just because it's silver doesn't mean it's worth thousands. What matters is grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70 ms. Grades are for business strikes. PF proof grades for proofs like this. A PF 69 is impressive, but a PF 70 Ultra Cameo, perfection, is where the big money hides. Only a handful of Utah S Silver proofs have achieved a perfect PF 70 grade at PCGS or NGC. And here's where the story takes a turn. One of these perfect coins, sold through heritage auctions, stunned the collecting world when it brought in over $4,300. That's not a typo. More than 17,000 times its face value. But that's not the highest a Utah S Silver proof has ever gone for. Hidden in a private, collector-to-collector transaction, the kind that never hits eBay, never appears on public auction sites, a spectacularly toned PF 70 Deep Cameo Utah S Silver quarter is rumored to have changed hands for over $12,000. Why? Eye appeal. That magical combination of flawless strike, deep mirrored fields, and natural rainbow toning from years in original packaging. So where could you possibly find one? The truth is, these coins were sold in 2007 proof sets from the U.S. Mint. You won't pull one from your change jar, but you could stumble on a proof set at a garage sale, estate sale or flea market, maybe in a grandparent's desk drawer, or still tucked in its original mint box long forgotten. If you find a Utah proof quarter, check the edge. Silver proofs have a solid silver-colored edge, not the copper stripe of clad coins. Weigh it on a small scale. 625 grams means silver, 567 means clad. If it's silver and flawless under a magnifying glass, don't clean it. Don't polish it. Get it graded. That's where the value comes to life. When it comes to selling, heritage auctions and great collections are your best bets for top-grade examples. For mid-grade or lightly handled proofs, eBay can still get you a few dozen dollars. Not bad for a coin most people overlook. And here's the kicker. While most Utah S Silver quarters trade between 10 and 30 in PF 69, the rarest, most flawless examples can still shock the market. That rumored $12,000 private sale? Totally believable for the right coin and the right collector. So the next time you see that gleaming Utah design, don't just think nice quarter. Think, could this be the one? Because in the coin world, perfection is priceless and sometimes, a tiny silver disc can carry the weight of a gold bar in value. At Rare Coin Collecting, we bring you the truth behind the coins that matter. No hype, no clickbait, just real stories from the world of numismatics. If you're a serious collector, investor, buyer, or seller, subscribe now. We're just getting started. The Utah State quarter might seem ordinary. Two trains meeting nose to nose. Golden spike between them, but some 2007 Philadelphia Mint examples have shocked collectors with prices in the thousands. And here's the twist. You might have one sitting in your coin jar without even realizing it. Before we dive into the big sales, let's get the basics straight. The P mint mark means this coin was struck in Philadelphia. Mintage over 255 million. That's a huge number. which means 99% of these are worth exactly 25 cents. But the 1% with special traits, that's where the story gets exciting. What makes certain Utah P quarters valuable? It's a combination of mint errors, die varieties, and top-tier grading. Some examples have dramatic die breaks near the trains, creating raised blobs of extra metal collectors called cuds. Others show doubling in the inscriptions. Crossroads of the West, a subtle but valuable doubled die obverse. Then there are off-center strikes where part of the design is missing entirely. Condition plays a massive role. The grading scale runs from MS60 to MS70, and with quarters, every tiny scratch counts. A coin straight from a mint set can grade higher than anything found in circulation. And that difference can mean hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. The record for a regular strike Utah P quarter? In 2019, a Pristina Mesreza example sold through Heritage auctions for an incredible $2,080. That is more than 11,000 times face value. Even MS67 examples have been known to bring $500 to $800 when the right bidders are in the room. So how do you spot a winner? Look for sharp details in the train's wheels, no contact marks on the fields, and a strong, unblemished luster. If you see unusual doubling or a die break, you might have something even better. Where can you find them? Your best bets are unsearched rolls from the bank, sealed U.S. mint sets, and bulk coin lots at estate sales. Don't overlook boxes of junk coins sold by weight. That's where treasures often hide. And my top-selling tip: if your coin looks flawless, don't sell it raw online. Get it graded by PCGS or NGC first. Buyers pay premiums for certified high-grade coins, because the grade is guaranteed. Most Utah P quarters will never be worth more than a quarter, but every so often, one comes along that defies the odds, and finding it feels like striking gold at the crossroads of history. At Rare Coin Collecting, we bring you the truth behind the coins that matter. If you're a serious collector, investor, buyer, or seller, subscribe now, because we're just getting started. The Utah State Quarter, the final coin in the U.S. Mint's 50 State Quarters program for 2007, might just be one of the most fascinating designs of the entire series. Two locomotives face each other across the coin's center, the golden spike between them marking the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869. For most people, it's a common 25-cent piece, but for sharp-eyed collectors, certain Utah quarters from the Denver Mint have proven to be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And in one shocking case, over 10,000. The D Mint mark tells us it was struck in Denver, and the mintage was enormous when about 256 million coins. That means most of these will forever be pocket change. But here's where the story gets interesting. A tiny fraction of those coins came out of the mint with rare errors, dramatic die varieties, or near-perfect preservation, and those are the ones that collectors will fight over. One of the most talked-about varieties is the double die obverse. You'll see slight, ghost-like doubling on the lettering Crossroads of the West, on the date 1896, or even on the train's fine details. It's subtle, but in high magnification it jumps out. Then there are off-center strikes, where the design is shifted far enough that part of the blank planche is visible. Depending on how dramatic the shift is, these can bring hundreds instantly. Even more unusual are coins with struck-through errors, where a piece of cloth, wire, or other debris got between the die and the blank coin during striking. The result? A ghostly, one-of-a-kind imprint embedded in the surface. These can be worth anywhere from $200 to over $3,500 depending on severity. Of course, condition is king. The grading scale goes from MS60, basically uncirculated but bag-marked, all the way up to MS70, a perfect coin with zero flaws visible under magnification. For modern quarters, MS68 and above are extremely tough to find, especially for coins pulled. Here's where the suspense pays off. In 2021, a collector graded MS68 Utah D quarter crossed the block at $3,040 through Heritage auctions. And an error example, a dramatic 70% off-center strike, fetched an astonishing $1,200 in a private sale. These are outliers, yes, but they prove the right Utah D quarter can bring jaw-dropping money. So where do you look? Start with unsearched bankrolls. Denver coins are common in the western United States, but they turn up everywhere. Estate sales, flea markets, and yard sales are great sources, especially if you find someone selling a box of old coins without having sorted through them. Even coin shows can surprise. You stump some dealers under price modern errors because they focus on older coins. Weight can be a quick authenticity check. The Utah quarter, like all copper nickel-clad state quarters, should weigh 5.67 grams. A coin that's heavy or light by more than a tiny fraction of a gram might be plated, altered, or even a rare wrong planche strike. If you think you've found something special, do not clean it. Cleaning instantly destroys collector value. Instead, handle it by the edges. Store it in a 2x2 holder or coin flip, and consider professional grading through PCGS or NGC. Remember, an MS-68 Utah D in a holder is a 4-figure coin. The same coin sold raw might only bring a fraction of that. So yes, 256 million were minted. But that doesn't mean they're all equal. Most will forever be worth 25 cents. A few are worth gas money, and the rarest handful, they're like finding a golden spike in your change jar, a reminder that history, rarity, and a little bit of luck can turn a simple state quarter into a prize worth bragging about for years. At Rare Coin Collecting, we bring you the truth behind the coins that matter. If you're a serious collector, investor, buyer, or seller, subscribe now, because the next great find might already be in your pocket. When most people glance at the Oklahoma State Quarter, they see a pretty design, the state bird, the scissor-tailed flycatcher, in flight over a field of Indian blanket wildflowers. But for serious collectors, especially when we're talking about the 2008 S-clad proof, this coin can be a surprisingly valuable little piece of American history, and I'm going to show you exactly why, and how some examples have sold for hundreds of dollars when the stars align. First, let's lay the groundwork. This is the S-clad proof version, meaning it was minted at the San Francisco Mint for inclusion in special proof sets. Clad means it's made of a copper nickel composition and no silver here. But don't let that fool you. These coins aren't meant for circulation. They're struck with specially prepared dies and polished planches to give them that mirror-like background and frosted design. The S mint mark just above the date tells you exactly where it came from. Now here's the part most people don't realize. Even though these coins were struck for collectors, they aren't all created equal. The U.S. Mint sold thousands of proof sets in 2008, but the handling, storage, and eventual condition of those coins vary dramatically. A perfect PR70 deep cameo example, that's the highest grade possible, can be worth dramatically more than a slightly imperfect PR69, and the auction records prove it. In 2021, an Oklahoma S-clad graded PR70 DCAM by PCGS sold for $400 on eBay. Another example in the same grade sold through Heritage auctions for $325 in 2022. Even PR69 DCAM examples regularly fetch $25–40, which is impressive considering they originally came as part of a set selling for under $15 back in 2008. But grading isn't the only factor. Some of these proofs have subtle minting varieties, tiny differences that even many collectors overlook. Things like frost breaks on the bird's wings, dye polishing lines in the fields, or even ultra-deep frosting that makes the design pop more than usual. These traits can create bidding wars when the right buyers spot them. Now let's step back and appreciate the history behind this design, because that's part of its appeal. Oklahoma became the 46th state in 1907, and the state quarter was issued in 2008, the final coin of the 50 state quarters program. The scissor-tailed flycatcher is not only the official state bird, but its long, forked tail and graceful flight are symbols of freedom and beauty unique to the region. The Indian blanket wildflowers below it symbolize the state's Native American heritage and natural beauty. This history matters because collectors love coins with a story, and when you're selling a coin, especially online, including these details in your listing can help it stand out and justify a higher price. So how do you get your hands on one of these valuable Oklahoma S-clad proofs? Start by checking complete 2008 proof sets, especially those still sealed in original U.S. Mint packaging. Coin shops sometimes break up sets to sell the silver coins separately, leaving the clad proofs in the bargain bin, which can be a gold mine if you know what you're looking for. Estate sales, flea markets, and even online auctions for mixed proof coins. Lots are also great hunting grounds. When you find one that looks pristine, resist the urge to clean it. Cleaning proof coins instantly kills their value. Instead, handle it only by the edges, preferably with cotton gloves, and consider professional grading if it looks flawless. A $20 grading fee can turn a $10 coin into a $200 or $300 sale if it comes back as PR70D cam. If you're selling, be strategic. Coins like this do best when listed in front of an audience of active collectors. Think eBay auctions ending on Sunday evenings, or specialized coin auction houses like Great Collections. Always include sharp, well-lit photos that show off the mirror-like fields and frosted devices. Mention the exact grade if it's certified, or use terms like cameo and deep cameo if the coin clearly shows those qualities. The truth is, most Oklahoma S-clad proofs will never bring huge money, and that's okay. But for the small percentage that grade perfectly or have exceptional eye appeal, the value jump can be astonishing, and that's what keeps collectors and treasure hunters like us digging through proof sets and coin lots, chasing that perfect piece. Because at the end of the day, this hobby isn't just about making a profit. It's about history in your hands. A snapshot of 2008, a celebration of Oklahoma's beauty, and a reminder that sometimes, even in a modern coin, there's a hidden gem waiting to be discovered. At Rare Coin Collecting, we bring you the truth behind the coins that matter. No hype, no clickbait, just real stories, real history, and real opportunities. If you're serious about coins as a collector, investor, buyer, or seller, subscribe now. We're just getting started.